How's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group and RetireSharp.com. Today's topic, I want to go in depth of planning to retire with confidence and kind of go over some different pros and cons, kind of a roadmap on how somebody could plan properly as they start nearing their retirement years or where they see their ideal age for retirement, and avoid some of the most common mistakes that individuals make with not having a plan and kind of just throwing random darts at a dartboard and just saying, oh well, eventually eventually I might have enough money to retire, and hopefully I don't outlive those monies. And that's just a bad form of hopium, and it's not actually setting up a structured plan to make sure that you're protecting yourself from downward market losses. You're receiving good growth into your accounts when the market's going up. Different things on how you could create a proper strategy correlates to your exact situation. So usually what happens is an individual would be saving their dollars for retirement. They're working for a specific company or different companies throughout their working career, and they understand they might come into that aha moment right when they hit their early 50s and they say, wow, I'm a couple years out, I'm about 10, 15 years out from what I want to retire when I want to retire. I think I really have to start planning out, this process a little bit better rather than just hoping that the market's going to be going up. So usually what happens is an individual will go and just stay consistent with how they've been setting up their growth strategy. A very common example is an individual that's working for a company that's offered like a 401k retirement plan, an employer-sponsored retirement plan. What's happening is this individual is getting paid a salary from their employer. Let's just call it $100,000 for easy math, and they're taking a portion of the salary, let's say 5%, and they're throwing those dollars, $5,000, into a type of retirement bucket known as a 401k. So this 401k plan, when they've originally started working, maybe in their 20s and their 30s, this might have been set up with really aggressive type funds. The mutual funds that they chose might have been more aggressive, and they just never have changed, that platform, never have changed that strategy. And rule of thumb says that, as you're earlier, as you're younger, you could take on more of that risk, more of that aggressive type strategy, meaning more equity based funds as opposed to more bond based funds or more safety based funds. And then every couple of years, you could go and reallocate those funds properly so that as you start nearing retirement, you're not tying your entire dollars, all your accounts are not susceptible to a large downward market shift. And a quick example is an individual that, let's say, has stayed aggressive, and let's say they have 80% of their money in the stock market, 20% into different fixed accounts. They might have received good growth because they weren't pulling money from these accounts. Anytime that the market went down, they were saying, well, I'm still getting paid my paycheck, so I'm not really, yes, this is kind of what's showing on my paper statements, but I'm not really feeling that impact, and maybe I'll feel that impact when I'm in retirement. If they stay consistent with this aggressive strategy, and now they're 60 years old, you could look at individuals that decided to retire when they were 60, 65 years old in 2008, and you had average portfolios that lost anywhere from 30% as high as 60%, their entire portfolio all in one swoop. So somebody had $1 million in their 401k walking into the year. They say, okay, I'm going to retire next year, and they get hit with, or they retired currently, at that time, and they get hit with a 30, 40% loss. That's $400,000 hit. That's not even incorporating how much money that individual siphoned out for income that year. That's another negative. What sort of fees that they were paying to be invested into those mutual funds, that's another negative. If they were hiring a financial advisor, that's an additional negative. So you could have half of that portfolio drop down because there was no safety net, and because this individual thought that, oh, the market should always be going up, like I saw from 1980 through 2000, and I have faith in the market. Well, the person that's opening up their statement after that year and saying, wow, my $1 million, I just lost the equivalent of a nice size home, 500 grand of my portfolio, and I'm not working any longer. That's a scary situation. So, rule of thumb is to say, okay, you could rebalance your portfolio, be a little bit more conservative, and hope that, that platform is going to work out for your benefit. So, kind of the first rule of thumb would be understand, be mindful of the position where you are right now, and try to figure out how many years out you are to retirement. If you're 10 years out, you got to be more conservative than if you're 20 years out. Or that's, that's kind of the status quo of financial planning and what financial planners are going to try to recommend individuals. We like to take a different approach and go a little bit more technical and say, okay, well, where is your current position and what is the ultimate goal? And how exactly do you accomplish that goal, making sure that you're setting up a proper strategy from now until that point, rather than just saying, yeah, I'm going to be conservative and, I'll hope that everything will work out in those next 10, 15 years. How exactly can we figure out what the specific dollar amount is that you need in retirement, and how exactly to accomplish that goal of receiving that exact situation, that exact goal, that exact income goal to the decimal point. So the example I'm going to use is, let's say if we have an individual that's age 60 and he or she is looking to retire at age 65, and they need to have X amount of thousands of dollars that are coming to them at age 65. And this is just basically a really simple 5-year deferral. And this individual has different IRA accounts, might have Roth IRA accounts, might have 401k accounts, and then a couple of different non-qualified brokerage accounts. And let's just total this up right around the $400,000 mark. If at age 65, we could say that this person is going to trigger their Social Security income, and that Social Security income is going to provide them $30,000. They have pension income at that age 65 as well. That's going to produce them another $10,000 of income. So if we understand this formula, we understand that at age 65, this person is going to receive guaranteed income sources that are going to total $40,000 of income at that age 65. So the very first step is to understand a budgeting sheet and understand what this individual's budget is currently, and then what is going to change by the time that they hit age 65. So we provide individuals with different budgeting analysis, and all it is just saying, okay, what are your monthly expenses? Rather than just say, okay, well, my utilities are, X amount of $100 a month. It says, no, well, what is each utility? What is that precise bill, so that we could figure out to the decimal point how much income you need to generate off of your, by that age 65. Maybe you have a mortgage and there's only a couple of years left on the mortgage and you're paying it right now at age 60, but that mortgage isn't going to be there by the time you're 65. Well, then you don't want to include that into your budget analysis. So the budgeting is probably the most important aspect, because this is going to calculate how much dollars you need to produce on a guaranteed income basis by the time that you hit age 65, or this hypothetical example, that person hits age 65. So if we go through all the different slews of options and we say, okay, well, this expense is still going to remain, this expense is going to be a little bit higher, this expense is not going to be there, et cetera, it's basically a 2-3 page sheet. What it's going to do is spit out a specific number, spit out an exact calculation. So in this example, let's say that person's number is $60,000, just for easy math. We understand that out of the $60,000, some expenses are going to remain fixed, and other expenses are going to be inflationary type expenses. The gallon of gas, the cost of food, entertainment, different things like that. So by calculating this number, maybe we have $40,000 is going to be fixed expenses, and $20,000 is going to be inflationary type expenses, but that's what's going to equal the $60,000 amount. So the very first step is to figure out your income sources. Okay? So we have guaranteed income through Social Security and pension income that's going to produce $40,000. This person has a $60,000 need. So what does that tell us is that we need to plan at this age 60. We're not going to wait until 65. We want to plan at age 60 to say, how can we receive lifetime income of $20,000 each and every year for the rest of this individual's life, or the rest of this couple's life? If you had a couple age 60, you basically could correlate it exactly to what their goal is. So what this tells us is, okay, they have $400,000 of assets. They have, we'll just call it $100,000 in a traditional IRA, $100,000 in a Roth IRA, $100,000 in a 401k account, and then $100,000 in non-qualified accounts. What we're going to try to do is figure out what is the absolute smallest dollar amount that someone can leverage of their $400,000 and set it up into a maximized income plan. So if we're just using the qualified funds, such as the 401k or the IRA as an example, we could say, okay, out of this 200,000, how much would be utilized? How much can we go and roll over or transfer into a specifically designed IRA contract, traditional IRA contract that will produce those guaranteed income sources? So maybe out of these numbers, we're saying, okay, well, the ultimate goal is $20,000, and this is really a stretch. There's a lot of these contracts do not offer that high of income, but for a hypothetical example, let's just say that the number came out to $150,000 that this person could place into a hybrid IRA annuity contract that will produce them their exact $20,000 of lifetime income. They have to place the dollars in there at age 60, and based upon the best guarantee that we're able to find for them, we have company XYZ that tells them if they place their monies in there at age 60, with a 5-year deferral, they're going to be able to produce exactly $20,000. So rather than just say, I have $400,000 in my accounts, I'm going to let this ride in the market. The reason why that's a problem is because they could fall victim to reverse dollar cost averaging. If you place your money set up in those variable accounts on how you grew those accounts in that accumulation stage, and you don't go more towards a preservation and distribution stage, you could fall victim to this reverse dollar cost averaging effect. And what I mean by that is, let's say if we took these 4 accounts and we placed it all within variable contracts, and we're saying, okay, we're going to just be super conservative, and we're going to invest them all within mutual funds, well, those mutual funds are going to have a fee. If it's a 401k account, that's going to have a 401k related fees. If you're leveraging a financial advisor to instruct you on that, that advisor is going to charge you an advisor fee. So let's just say the mutual fund related fees, average mutual fund related fees are right around 1.31%. Average advisor fees are right around 1.25%. So let's just call it a 1% mutual fund related fee, 1% advisor fee for really conservative numbers. This person is also susceptible to downward market losses, susceptible to that 2008 market crash or another market crash that can be taking place. So let's just say if this account loses 10%, that's a negative, that's a negative, that's a negative. We'll say that they're paying, 1%. Let's just say they're paying $4,000 worth of mutual fund related fees, $4,000 worth of advisor fees, and this individual lost $40,000 due to downward market loss that year. They didn't even take out a single penny at age 60, and they would be down $48,000 from their account from the $400,000 that they originally started with that year. Now, if we start incorporating income, and now this person says, okay, well, I'm going to start pulling out money of income at age 65, those are further negatives. They run that risk of inflationary risk because some expenses are fixed, other expenses are inflationary, so these inflationary expenses are going to be increasing with that. Also, you have the longevity risk, the technological advances that are showing individuals keep living longer and longer and longer. So this is more of a question mark and saying, I just hope that the market's going to do well as opposed and fall victim to all these different negatives, even though you're not aware of those negatives, they do still exist. With this side, if we set up a proper guaranteed income plan, you could leverage this hybrid annuity to produce you that $20,000. And what do we do at this $400,000 account? All it cost was $150,000 to preserve and give this individual $20,000 of guaranteed lifetime income. I leverage a hybrid annuity for a couple of reasons. One, because you could still have access to your monies. God forbid if you passed away too soon, whatever's remaining in your account value would still go to your beneficiaries. So that's why I like using hybrid annuities, which are fixed index annuities with income riders with that specific first leg option. But the ultimate goal, the ultimate idea that we're trying to accomplish is to say, figure out what that income number needs to be, and then scale backwards. What's the smallest amount of dollars that you can go and place into a specifically designed insurance-based contract that will produce you that lifetime income that will go for if this person died when they were 70 years old, if they lived until age 110 years old, that income will still be coming to them properly. So let me clear up the screen real quick. So we understand the first thing is the budget, which is then going to correlate exactly to what the income sources are. Social Security income, pension income, annuity income through that IRA, through the qualified account. So you could also use non-qualified type annuity contracts if it requires more of an initial deposit. We needed to use $150,000 in this example, and therefore we have $250,000 left over in all those other accounts. Number 2 is emergency funds. In retirement, it's always key to have an emergency source. So if this person has, and rule of thumb is about, you want to have 6 to 12 months into liquid cash. When you're placing your money into IRA annuity contracts, the downside to that is you're going to have restricted liquidity off of those monies. And if you're placing it in there for a specific income goal, you don't want to touch that IRA if it's set up for a specific purpose. That's where these other monies come in. So what you could do is say, okay, 6 to 12 months of what my annual expenses are. What I'm going to do is take $50,000 and place that over into a, maybe take the Roth account or whatever it is, or just the non-qualified accounts, and make sure that that's in very liquid cash, such as a money market account or a savings type account, to correlate to your emergency expense goal. Something happens, something regarding your healthcare occurs, you want to make sure that this is safe, preserved, protected. Let's say a tree comes, falls through your house. You want to make sure that you could pay that cost for repairs, or if you want to go take different, vacations or whatever might happen during your retirement life. Always to make sure that you're covering 6 to 12 months of those expenses, and you're keeping that completely liquid that you could access it at any time. So what this tells us is our IRA, we spent $150,000 out of our IRA and 401k related accounts. The remaining $50,000 from those accounts, maybe we place that into a money market IRA account. And now what do we have left over? $200,000. And now this allows us to work towards that inflationary goal. Some advisors like to have that more of guaranteed income, and what they do is they'll set up a laddering process, a laddering strategy based upon annuities, sub-annuity accounts, where you could receive the income at age 65, and then you set up $20,000 here, $30,000 there, that gets spit off new incomes, new step-ups in income, to correlate to that inflationary need, because we said that $40,000 is going to be fixed, $20,000 is going to be inflationary. So each time that $60,000 expense is going to increase every couple of years, maybe $62,000 in a couple of years, then $65,000, you could step up with guaranteed income sources such as annuities to correlate to that goal, or you could have fun with it. You could say, you know what, I want to have some liquid cash, but I want to have fun with the market. I don't want to risk my money in the market too crazy, but I want to make sure that I'm combating this inflation. And that's where you could go more towards either passive strategies, to go towards more of like those index funds, like what a Vanguard would do, or you could go more towards tactical money management and say, I want to always make sure that I'm protecting my bottom line, make sure that I'm preventing downward market losses, trying to accentuate my gains. Better than what I could do on a passive strategy, better than what I could do on my own, and make sure that I'm correlating and getting good recommendations off of how to protect that $200,000 and grow it in a very effective and efficient manner. And this is regarding those Roth accounts and those brokerage accounts, those remaining monies. So what we did in this video was, rather than just have a big question mark and say, oh, I have $400,000, let me just all leave it into the market. Well, we understand that reverse dollar cost averaging could completely eat up those accounts. This is why individuals, majority of individuals, 70 to 90% of seniors cannot properly retire, and they outlive their retirement savings, is because they just have this big question mark. They just have this guessing game, and they do not plan to retire. When you plan to retire, you could have confidence in retirement. If the markets go down, this plan is ineffective. If, let's say, you keep living in your 80s, 90s, 100s, this plan is not going to be affected. All of these different options, we want to make sure that we have that three-legged stool at all times, so you have pure confidence, you have money that you could pull from in case of an oh my gosh moment, your emergency funds, you have your income sources covered, and you also can have some fun. Those are more of your fun monies to combat that inflationary, that inflationary risk, and then the longevity risk that unfortunately individuals fall victim to. So once again, this is just a hypothetical example, but I hope that, this made a lot of sense of kind of going in with a question mark or kind of, going in there with a actual planning strategy. If you found value in this video and you want to speak with a specialist, simply give us a call. Our 1-800 number, 1-800-566-1002. We offer 24/7 customer service. You can give us a call mornings, nights, weekends, holidays, whatever the case may be. What you would expect when calling in is that you're going to speak to an assistant, going to tell them that you either listen to radio, television, or you saw one of our YouTube videos of exactly what the topic was, so that we'll make sure that that assistant places you over to the correct specialist. And that specialist is going to ask you a whole slew of questions to really try to understand the 30,000-foot view of where you are currently and what you're trying to accomplish, and then what might be some gaps in your plan, or whether or not you might be able to accomplish that without making any changes. So we tried to at least add that confidence in retirement, so you understand every little angle of what could happen with the market, what could happen with certain outside conditions, and then how to combat that properly and make sure that you're covered from all angles. So we're A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. We've always had very good reviews. We've never had any complaints, and I believe it's because of this methodical process. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, or visit our website at www.retiresharp.com. And I hope that you learned some things, and look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much.